Velorian vessels, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth diplomatic ship Olive Branch. We are on a peaceful mission. Please respond. We are not hostile. Repeat, we are not. 12 armed warships have entered Velorian space without authorization. Defensive protocol activated. All vessels, engage immediately. Protect the homeworld. 2 species. 1 moment. 2 completely different understandings of what was happening. The humans thought they were being attacked for no reason. The Velorians thought they were being invaded by a heavily armed force. Both were right. Both were completely wrong. And in the middle of one of the most unnecessary battles in galactic history, 2 commanders on opposite sides of a firefight were about to discover something extraordinary about each other. First contact protocol. The battle nobody wanted. This is the story of how humanity's greatest friendship nearly began with its greatest mistake, and what happened when humans won a battle they never wanted to fight. Six months before the battle, the Velorian Collective had been detected 18 months before first contact, not through aggression, through art. The SETI long-range array picked up a repeating signal from the Kepler sector, not random noise, not simple mathematics, something more complex, musical in structure, layered, intentional. Dr. Maria Vasquez spent 6 weeks analyzing it before she announced to her team, or somebody out there is composing. It was composition, specifically a form of collective harmonic communication that the Velorian Collective used as their primary language form. They didn't speak words, they sang them. Together. A species that communicated in collective harmony was, by most xenolinguistic analysis, extremely unlikely to be aggressive. Aggressive species tended toward individual dominance, communication patterns. Earth's diplomatic corps spent 6 months preparing the most carefully designed first contact package in human history. Cultural exchange database. Music, art, mathematics, language primers, medical information showing human biology, a complete history of human civilization including all wars, honestly documented, alongside all achievements. Earth didn't hide its violent history. It presented it as context. We show them everything, said Diplomatic Corps Director Amara Osei. The wars and the art, the cruelty and the kindness. We don't sanitize. We show them who we actually are. The escort fleet was 12 ships, not because Earth expected trouble, because protocol required it. Any diplomatic mission beyond established space required military escort. The ships were armed. Visibly armed, because that's what military escort ships are. Captain Sarah Chen of the EDS Olive Branch had been selected to command the diplomatic mission for 3 reasons. 20 years of naval experience, a xenolinguistics doctorate, and the specific psychological profile the diplomatic corps called the capacity to hold 2 contradictory truths simultaneously. She would need that capacity more than anyone had imagined. 3 months before the battle, the Velorian Collective had also detected the humans, not their ships, not yet. Their electromagnetic signals. Military communications. Everything humanity had been broadcasting into space for 150 years. What the Velorian signal analysts found in those 150 years of broadcasts was alarming. Humans fought, constantly, wars covering their entire planet for most of their recorded history. Military technology advancing faster than almost any other field. Weapons capable of planetary destruction. And now a signal was detected in nearby space, coming closer. The Velorian Collective's Defensive Council convened immediately. The signal origin species is heavily militarized, reported their intelligence analysis. Their broadcasts show continuous organized violence across their entire history. They are approaching our space. Are they responding to our harmonic transmissions? Asked the council elder. Unknown. The approach vector suggests awareness of our position. Fleet Commander Velsara was given defensive authorization, not to attack, to protect. If they enter Velorian space with armed vessels, the Council authorized, you may engage. Nobody in that room imagined what 12 armed human ships entering Velorian space to deliver a diplomatic package would look like to a defensive fleet that had studied 150 years of human warfare. Human POV, Captain Chen's Bridge. Chen had been awake for 36 hours when they reached the Kepler sector boundary. The diplomatic package was ready. Harmonic translation software running. Chen's xenolinguistics team had spent 3 months developing a response to the Velorian signal in their own harmonic format. It wasn't perfect, but it said what needed saying. We come in peace. We bring knowledge. We offer friendship. We ask for nothing except conversation. Chen had run the first contact drill 47 times in simulation. Step 1. Broadcast diplomatic package on all frequencies including harmonic band. Step 2. Hold position. Do not approach further until response received. Step 3. If threatened, withdraw. Absolutely do not escalate. Step 4. If fired upon while withdrawing, standard defensive protocols. She had never run a simulation where Step 4 was needed. She was about to find out why that was a mistake. Velorian POV. Fleet Commander Velorians. Fleet Commander Velorians received the alert at what Velorians called the third harmonic of morning, when the collective song of their species reached its most complex daily peak. 12 signals, moving at significant velocity. Arm configuration confirmed by electromagnetic profile. Velorians had 47 warships, more than sufficient. Their orders to their fleet were sung rather than spoken, a battle song that contained simultaneously the tactical instructions, the emotional context of defense rather than aggression, and the hope that the intruders would recognize the warning and turn back. Velorians genuinely hoped the humans would turn back. The 150 years of human broadcast data suggested they wouldn't. The moment of no return. At 0847 hours, the EDS olive branches sensors detected the Velorian fleet. At the same moment, the Velorian fleet's sensors confirmed that human ships had crossed into Velorian space. Chen. Velorian vessels detected. 47 vessels. They were waiting for us. Broadcasting diplomatic package now on all frequencies. Hold position. Do not advance. Velorians. Armed vessels have crossed the boundary. They are broadcasting on communication frequencies. Analysis of broadcast content will require. The Velorian weapons locked on human ships at 0848. Chen's tactical officer said, 47 vessels have weapons lock on us. Chen said, continue broadcasting. Do not return weapons lock. I repeat, do not return weapons lock. At 0849, the first Velorian energy beam fired. (0849), first shot. The beam hit EDS Courage's shields at full power. The shields held. Barely. EDS Courage shields at 60%. Recommend return fire. Chen processed 3 things simultaneously in approximately 2 seconds. 1. They were under attack. 2. The attack was probably defensive, not aggressive. 47 ships did not need to warn 12 ships. They needed to destroy them. 3. If she returned fire without trying to communicate, this became a war. Evasive maneuvers, she said. Do not return fire. Broadcast diplomatic package on Velorian harmonic frequencies at maximum power. Captain, we're being fired on. I know, evasive. No return fire. Maximum diplomatic broadcast. What followed was something no military engagement in recorded history had looked like. 12 human ships maneuvering defensively under attack from 47 alien vessels, taking damage, while simultaneously broadcasting a peace message in the attacking species' own language. Chen's xenolinguistics team had the harmonic translator running. The diplomatic package was broadcasting, but it was designed for static first contact, not for mid-battle reception. Can you get through to them in real time? Chen asked Dr. Yusuf Ibrahim, her chief xenolinguist. The translation isn't refined enough for real-time conversation. Can you say this is a misunderstanding? Ibrahim worked for 30 seconds. I can say the harmonic equivalent of our intent is not conflict. Broadcast it, on loop, maximum power. Velorian POV. The human ships were not returning fire. Velorians processed this with extreme attention. They were maneuvering. Defensively. Effectively. Their evasion patterns were impressive for vessels of their size, but they were not shooting back. Then the harmonic broadcast reached Velorians' communication officers. Commander, the human ships are broadcasting on our harmonic frequencies. Content? A pause while the analyst processed. Approximately. Our intent is not conflict. Repeated continuously. Velsara held up a hand. Not a stop order, a wait order. In Velorian Collective consciousness, a wait order was unusual during active engagement. It rippled through the fleet's harmony. Continue firing, Velsara ordered. But note the anomaly. They are broadcasting peace while absorbing our fire. This is not consistent with invasion behavior. Invasion forces shoot back. These weren't shooting back. The human fleet takes damage. EDS Courage took a second hit that dropped shields to 20%. EDS Perseverance lost its forward weapons array. EDS Harmony, the second diplomatic support ship, took a hit that knocked out its harmonic broadcasting array. Captain, said her tactical officer, Lieutenant James Okafor, we have firing solutions on 11 of their vessels. We can significantly reduce their offensive capability in the next 60 seconds. Hold fire. Captain, EDS Courage cannot take another full hit. Get Courage behind the formation. Hold fire. Continue broadcasting. Chen pulled up the harmonic interface directly. She was not a trained singer, but she had studied Velorian harmonic communication for 3 months. She broadcast in Velorian harmonic, imperfect, heavily accented, but unmistakably deliberate. The rough harmonic translation of what she sang, "We are not your enemy. Look at what we do. We do not fire. We carry gifts. We came to sing with you. Please, stop. Listen." Velorian response. On Velsara's bridge, the communication officer played Chen's transmission. The entire bridge fell silent. It was not good Velorian harmonic. The pronunciation was technically wrong in a dozen places. The tonal relationships were imprecise, but it was unmistakably an attempt at Velorian harmonic communication by a species that had learned it from 340 light-years away. Velsara had a thought that they would later describe as the most significant thought of their career. A species that studies your language before visiting does not come to conquer. A species that comes to conquer does not need your language. Cease fire, Velsara said. Stop. Because in the silence after Velsara said cease fire, something happened that nobody on either side expected. Chen's ships were still broadcasting, still singing, in broken, imperfect Velorian harmonic, saying over and over, "We do not want to fight." And Velsara could see the damage their fleet had done to those 12 ships. Real damage, significant damage, ships that had taken multiple hits and not fired back. And here is what Velsara understood in that silence that made them temporarily unable to speak. If those 12 ships had fired back from the first shot, the battle would have been different, much harder. The human ships were outnumbered, but they had shown evasive capability that suggested their offensive capability was probably significant. They had chosen not to fire back. Under attack. Taking damage. They had chosen not to fire back. For a species whose 150 years of broadcasts showed almost constant warfare, this was not the expected behavior. Velsara had a second thought, immediately following the first. What kind of species chooses not to fight when it can fight? A species that wants something more than winning. The ceasefire held. Both sides stared at each other across the void, and then began the most complicated conversation in human history. The language problem. Chen gave her crew 20 minutes to damage control, while the harmonic translation team worked on a real-time communication protocol. Ibrahim had been preparing for first contact for 15 years. None of his preparations had included first contact while recovering from taking weapons fire. "We can do basic concept exchange," he told Chen. "Not sentences, concepts, intent, emotion. It's like talking with your hands when you don't share a language." "Do it," and said Chen. On the Velorian side, the situation was parallel. Their translation capability for human communication was based on 150 years of electromagnetic broadcasts. They understood human language patterns. What they had not prepared for was a human speaking in their language, even badly. "She is attempting harmonic communication," reported Velsara's chief analyst. "The attempt is technically poor, but conceptually clear. She is using the emotional harmonic layers correctly. She understands that our language carries intent in its harmony, not just meaning in its words." "She studied us," Velsara said quietly, "for at least 3 months, based on the sophistication of the attempt." The exchange. What followed across the next 4 hours was simultaneously the most frustrating and most important conversation humanity had ever conducted. Human team broadcast a concept and attempted harmonic. We came to share knowledge. Velorian analysts process for 8 minutes. Velorian response, a harmonic sequence that translated as, why carry weapons for sharing? Human team deliberates for 6 minutes. Chen personally contributes to the response harmonic. Our history requires protection. Old habit. We are trying to change. We brought 12 guards but no weapons of aggression. Our guards defended without attacking. Does this not demonstrate intent? 13 minutes of Velorian analysis. Velsara's response. Your history shows your species in constant conflict. We observed 150 years of your warfare. We defended against what we saw. Chen sat back in her chair. They had seen humanity's broadcasts. 150 years of wars, military technology, and constant conflict. Of course they thought the 12 armed ships were invasion force. We scared them, Chen said quietly to Ibrahim. We came in peace and we scared them, because they know who we are. She looked at the tactical display, 47 Velorian ships, her fleet damaged but operational. She had firing solutions on half their fleet, and she understood something that she suspected Velsara was also just understanding. They know we can fight, she said. They know we're good at it. They can see the damage they did. They know we didn't shoot back. Get me the best harmonic we can construct for what I need to say. Ibrahim raised an eyebrow. What do you need to say? Chen looked at the tactical display. The truth. The truth transmission. The harmonic transmission Chen sent 14 minutes later was the most carefully constructed diplomatic communication in human history. Ibrahim composed. Chen corrected the emotional harmonic layers based on her own study. 3 members of the xenolinguistics team contributed. The final transmission said, in Velorian harmonic, you are correct about our history. We fight. We have always fought. We have fought each other for thousands of years. We have caused great harm. We are still learning to choose differently. Today we chose differently. We could have fought back. You can see your damage on our ships. You can see we did not. We sent 12 ships with guards because our history makes quest orders because we are trying to be different. The conflict between who we have been and who we are trying to become, this is the truest thing about humanity. We came to sing with you because your music reached us and we found it beautiful. We are sorry for frightening you. We are sorry for our history. We are trying. Velsara's bridge was silent for 22 minutes while the collective processed the transmission. Then Velsara did something that their tactical crew had never seen in a military engagement. They began to sing. Not a battle harmonic. Not a command sequence. A Velorian expression that had no direct human translation, but that their analysts rendered approximately as, we hear you. We see you. We believe you. We too are afraid of what we do not know. Welcome. Chen listened to the translation. Her tactical officer, Lieutenant Okafor, looked at her. Captain, are they apologizing to us? No, said Chen. They're saying hello, for the first time. She looked at her crew. Send them the diplomatic package. All of it. Everything we brought. And add something Dr. Ibrahim didn't prepare. Add a full technical readout of the damage their fleet did to our ships. Unclassified, complete. Ibrahim looked confused. Why? Because I want them to see exactly how much damage they did, said Chen. And I want them to see that we can calculate our own firing solutions from that data. I want them to understand exactly how capable we were of responding. And I want them to understand that we knew that and chose not to use it. Velsara's reckoning. Velsara reviewed the human ship's damage reports alongside the weapons capability analysis. The humans had absorbed significant hits. Several ships were operating at reduced capacity, and the weapons capability assessment was significant. If they had returned fire from the first shot, said Velsara's tactical officer, our engagement would have been considerably more costly. Their evasion patterns suggest their offensive patterns are equally optimized. They chose not to fire, Velsara said, under sustained attack, with the capability to respond. Yes, Commander. Velsara stood at the viewport looking at the damaged human fleet still broadcasting harmonic peace signals, a species that had been at war with itself for most of its history. A species that had come to first contact with weapons because their history had taught them to be afraid. A species that had been shot at, taken damage, and responded by trying harder to communicate. What do we know about species that fight each other as much as humans do? Velsara asked their council. They are dangerous, said the tactical officer. Yes. What else? A pause. They understand conflict from the inside. Yes, said Velsara. They understand what it costs. Species that have not fought do not know what fighting costs. Humans know exactly what it costs. They have paid that cost 10,000 times. That is why they did not fire back. Not because they couldn't, because they know exactly what firing back starts. And they decided that this time, they would rather be hurt than start something that cannot be easily stopped. That is not the behavior of a conqueror. That is the behavior of a species that is very tired of war. The treaty conversation, over the following 6 hours, both sides' translation teams built a working communication bridge. Not perfect, not nuanced, but sufficient. The first real-time exchange between Velsara and Chen was brief. Velsara, your harmonic pronunciation is technically incorrect in 11 places. Chen, I know, I practiced for 3 months and I'm still terrible at it. Velsara, you practiced for 3 months. Chen, yes. Velsara, to speak to us before you met us. Chen, yes. Velsara, no species has ever done that before. Chen, we wanted to get it right. We don't always get things right, but we try. Velsara, your ships are damaged. Chen, yes. Velsara, we can offer repair assistance. Chen, we came to offer you things. You don't need to. Velsara, we fired on ships that came in peace. We would like to correct our mistake. Chen, we would accept that. Thank you. Velsara, your diplomatic package. You included your complete history, including your wars. Chen, yes. Velsara, why? Chen, because you deserve to know exactly who you're talking to. We didn't want to pretend to be something we're not. You were going to find out eventually. We thought it was better if you heard it from us. Velsara, we observed your history in your broadcasts. We were afraid of you. Chen, we understand. We would have been afraid of us too. Velsara, we were wrong to fire without attempting communication first. Chen, we were wrong to approach without better preparation for how we might appear. We scared you. That's on us. Velsara, 2 parties, both afraid, both wrong, both right. Chen, that's usually how these things start. Three months later, repaired human fleet and Velorian fleet in formation together. The formal first contact ceremony between humanity and the Velorian Collective took place 3 months after the battle. Chen led the human delegation. Velsara led the Velorian delegation. Velsara was taller than Chen by about a foot, luminescent skin shifting colors with emotional expression. 4 arms, eyes that saw into frequency ranges humans couldn't perceive. They looked at each other for a moment. Then Velsara sang a single harmonic phrase. Chen's translator rendered it, the one who sang badly but meant every word. Chen laughed. It was the first human laughter Velsara had heard in person rather than through broadcast recordings. They studied it carefully, then produced a sound that their translator rendered as, "We find this also." What the Velorians told the galactic community. 6 months after first contact, Fleet Commander Velsara addressed the Collective's broader council about the human species. We attacked them. They did not attack back. We damaged their ships. They asked for our help repairing them. We questioned their history of violence. They confirmed it completely and told us that is exactly why they are trying to be different. They are the most dangerous species we have encountered in terms of military capability. They are also the only species we have encountered that came to first contact having studied our language. The combination of these 2 things is important. A species can be powerful without self-awareness. A species can be self-aware without power. Humans appear to be developing both simultaneously. They are afraid of themselves. They know what they're capable of, and they are actively working to choose differently. We saw this in the battle that was not a battle. We saw a species fighting with one hand and trying to stop the fight with the other. This is not weakness. This is the hardest thing any species can do. We recommend full partnership. A. Chen's report to Earth. Captain Sarah Chen's official report to Earth Diplomatic Corps concluded with a section that her superior officers described as unusually personal for an official document, but declined to remove. It read, "The Velorian Collective fired on us because they were afraid of us. They were afraid of us because our history gave them every reason to be. We cannot change our history. We can only demonstrate, repeatedly and consistently, that we are capable of choosing differently. They gave us the opportunity to prove that by attacking us and waiting to see what we would do. We did not return fire. I believe that single decision did more for human-Velorian relations than any diplomatic package could have, because a diplomatic package is words and data. Not returning fire was a choice made under pressure, with damaged ships, while people under my command were in danger. The Velorians noticed the difference. Recommendation: all future diplomatic escort missions should carry xenolinguists with active harmonic communication capability. But more importantly, all future diplomatic escorts should carry commanders who understand that showing what you won't do is sometimes more important than what you can do." And the report was classified for 15 years. When it was declassified, it became required reading at every human diplomatic academy. Required reading title: The Battle That Built a Bridge. The first contact between humanity and the Velorian Collective is studied in military academies, not for the battle tactics, but for what happened in the silence after the shooting stopped. Two commanders. Both wrong. Both right. Both afraid. Both trying. In the 30 years following the battle nobody wanted, humanity and the Velorian Collective became the galaxy's most productive partnership. Velorian harmonic communication integrated with human linguistic analysis produced translation algorithms that could decode previously incomprehensible alien languages. Human tactical doctrine integrated with Velorian collective consciousness produced defensive strategies that successfully protected both species from 3 subsequent aggressive encounters. The joint exploration fleet they built together was called the Olive Branch class, named for Chen's ship. At the 10-year anniversary ceremony, Sarah spoke about the battle. "We almost killed each other on the day we met. This is not unusual in the history of new relationships. What was unusual was what happened next. They did not fire back. Under attack, damaged, capable. They chose not to fire back. I have asked Captain Chen why many times. The answer she gives is always the same. Because we've done the other thing," Chen said. "We know how that ends. We wanted to see how this ends. Turns out this ends better. Humanity has fought more wars than any species in recorded galactic history. Humanity has also ended more wars through negotiation than any other species. We know what conflict costs. We have paid it. We know what peace is worth. We have built it. And we know the difference between a species that comes to fight and a species that comes to talk. Because when we came to talk and got shot at, we kept talking. That's not weakness. That's the hardest thing there is. First contact protocol. Don't fire first. Don't stop talking. Show them who you're trying to be. We are humans. We fight when we must. We talk whenever we can. And we are very, very stubborn about which one we prefer." To every diplomat who held the line without weapons, you defended something just as important. If you were Captain Chen and got fired on during a peace mission, would you have fired back? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for weekly HFY stories. Next episode, the 30-year revenge, Operation Long Memory.